beers. Bloody
Beers
on the piss.
And welcome back to the Bloody Brilliant Beers podcast, brought to you by Bluebet.
That's Clutch. I'm Das. We are the Bloody Brilliant Beers. We started off reviewing craft beers on Facebook, and now we bring you the conversations that you'd more than likely hear from the front bar at your local. And where are we today, Clutzy?
Mate, we're still at the Caxton Hotel just for something different. It is Eka Week still, and it is still raining.
Yeah.
So
Clutzy's been giving his weather report randomly at the start of the podcast for the last few weeks. Not that it ever comes out live, but he still likes to include it.
It's just nice to know how good Queensland is.
Yeah, exactly right. And we've actually got a very, very special guest today.
Yes, we do. We have the man that leads the greatest state in the world and the nation, Stephen Miles. How are we, mate?
G'day, guys. Thanks for having me.
Mate,
thanks for coming on.
Yeah, we
Stoked.
appreciate it. Welcome to the Caxton Hotel. We thought straight off the bat, like, we obviously give the Caco quite a bit of a rap, given that we film up here. But you are probably pretty well versed in a lot of pubs in Queensland. Whereabouts does the Caxton rank, do you think?
Oh, it's definitely top 10. We've got a lot of great pubs, but the Caco's up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. It's just iconic. I think there'd be a few country pubs that might give it a run for its money that we need to investigate. But no, she's a good joint.
We're
Give you
slightly
a bucket
biased.
list if you want.
Yeah, well, we actually need it. Like we've been saying, we need to do a regional tour and get out there.
Yeah.
There's something about country pubs, but in our eyes, the Caxton's number one. Something about the car park, game day, Magic Round, Origin.
Yeah, 100%. It's just the best place in the world.
Mate, something that we do with all of our guests on the show is to kick things off. We ask for 2 truths and 1 lie.
Right.
So we're wondering if you could provide us with 2 truths and 1 lie that might give us a bit of an insight into the great Stephen Miles, and we'll try and figure out which one's the porcupine.
All right, 2 truths and a lie. Here goes. I've actually been kicked out of the Caxton. I make a mean margarita.
Yep.
And I've got a 4-keg beer fridge, so 4 taps.
That's tough. All very believable.
That is very believable.
I feel like the getting kicked out of the Caxton's actually a rite of passage. So I'd be surprised if that one's not true.
Yeah.
I reckon the margarita's false.
The margarita.
Yeah. Although not typically a hard drink to make.
I'm going to go the margarita as well.
Yeah. That's what I'm locking in as my false. But.
No, I've not been kicked out of the Caxton.
Oh, really?
No.
Oh, no.
Haven't been
Court
trying
office
hard
plenty of
enough.
times, but never the Caxton.
Just not trying hard enough.
No,
I wish
no.
I'd never been kicked out of the Caxton. No, it's
No.
there we go. We'll have to come around and try a few beers off the tap and a margarita one day, maybe.
You should.
Definitely. What's the secret behind a good margarita, you reckon?
I like one that's not sweet at all. So
Yes.
real
okay.
sour and lots of salt.
Yeah, that's good.
Do you ever dabble in a bit spicy, mate?
Yeah, some chili powder on the rim too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
that's
like
good.
it. Yeah, this is very dangerous conversations for a Tuesday
Should we get
afternoon.
I'm just ready to rip the lid off now.
As always here at the Caco. Mate, to kick things off, what was it like growing up in Brizzy, and what was your drive to get into politics in the first place?
Yeah, I loved growing up in Brisbane, but I was in the kind of outer reaches. You know, I grew up at Petrie, which back then there wasn't much between Petrie and Caboolture. So,
Yeah.
I live not far from there. I live not far from there now, and I've really seen the city grow over that time, and you can really start to sense it changing again too. With Queen's Wharf a few weeks away,
Yep.
Cross River Rail coming, and then of course the games in 2032. So
Yeah.
big times for a great city.
Yeah, lots of buzz about it.
definitely. God, I didn't know Queen's Wharf was so close.
Yeah, it's the end of August, isn't
29th
it?
of
29th,
August.
yeah.
Oh, my God.
Well, that's another place we'll have to check out.
Yeah. A few good margaritas there as well, hopefully.
No doubt.
Yeah, awesome. What was you said there wasn't much out there now. When did you start to see that like difference where the Petrie sort of area started to grow a bit?
Yeah, it's really taken off, hasn't it? So I live at Mango Hill now. There was nothing there then, and there's probably 20,000 people between North Lakes and Mango Hill. So
Yeah.
it's grown a lot, as has the whole city. So
Yeah,
for sure.
definitely. It's a great place. You're mentioning you used to live in Ashgrove as well. Probably the greatest suburb in Brisbane.
I reckon there's people who listen to this
Unbiased.
podcast that have never been to Brisbane but know more about Ashgrove than like probably their own suburbs just because of how much he talks about it.
See, I live in this little bottle where I thought Ashgrove was like the only Ashgrove in the world. And I went down to Tasmania a few years ago and discovered Ashgrove cheese and thought it was just the greatest thing ever. So,
that is cool.
and then I was trying to rack my brain, where do we have like a cheese place in Ashgrove? But No. Sadly, there's no cows in Ashgrove, but that's okay.
No.
Maybe one day.
Still a great suburb, though.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Mate, you mentioned the games in 2032. We've been pretty much glued to the TV every morning and evening watching it. What do you think? Like, what are you picturing the city's going to be looking like for 2032? I'm pumped. Like, I think it's going to be just one big party almost, or a celebration. Are you excited for it?
Oh, really excited. And Paris just reminded me what a great honour it is to get to bring the Olympics and Paralympics to your city. And everyone had already heard of Paris, whereas lots of people won't have heard of Brisbane. And so just that chance to kind of step shift our reputation globally is pretty cool.
Yeah, completely agree. Where like the Olympics for me, I always forget how big of an occasion it is, and this is probably the first time that I've properly got around the Olympics. Like my sleeping schedule is not good at the moment, but
you're an expert in diving now.
Yeah, with Mark Taylor. So maybe in 2032 I can get onto the commentary team for that.
I reckon you can.
What's the peak event for you? Like, what's your favourite event been?
Oh, the swimming was just amazing, wasn't it? And didn't the pool look spectacular?
Yeah, it was so good.
Yeah, we did so well. And then just, you know how we usually, peak at the end of the swimming, we didn't drop off. We
it was
kept
so
winning
good.
events. It was incredible. The skateboarding.
Yeah, I was living for people would put together like, here's today's schedule, and usually go up like early afternoon. And that one that we saw that kept getting posted, they had like every time there's an Aussie competing for gold, they'd have the little gold medal emoji.
Yep.
And every day you're like, oh, we're still like in and amongst it the whole time.
It was incredible.
My favorite thing for the Olympics actually happened the previous Olympics, but was when Jess Fox was competing for gold in the canoe, and I remember being in the office and we had it on the screens, and it was like 5:17 or something PM that she was due to start, and no one had left. Everyone had packed up, standing there with their bags ready to go, and we're all just standing there glued to the screen and in silence. And someone said, "I've never been this nervous about a canoe race in my life." And I was like, that just typifies what the Olympics is all about. But I'm like, we had a conversation the other day. Often, the Maroons after Origin will end up upstairs here at the Caxton, and we're like, they're going to be doing events at Suncorp. Like, we might have Olympians roaming around the car park. Like, it's just going to be amazing.
Yeah, we will. Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, it'd be so sick. I don't even know what my favourite event will be. I'm keen to see the Rugby Sevens when it comes back. That's been a good spectacle as well. That's the only rugby that's still alive, really. But that's okay. Now, we've heard you're a bit of a sporting man. Are you more of a rugby league supporter? Is that your go-to sport?
Yeah. Grew up on rugby league. And,
nice.
Been a Broncos member here for nearly 25 years, I think.
Nice. Yeah, she's been a bit of a rough season this year, but
not ideal going from finalists to.
I know. Someone told me on the weekend though, like will come out about a week after we're recording. We're recording just after the Cowboys game, but I'd sort of to put it in perspective, my mood is sort of dictated by how the Broncos are travelling. So it's been a bit of a tough year, but I'd sort of come to terms with the fact that we weren't making finals this year, and we got to go to the game on the weekend, as listeners will know. But I was like, it's still going to be a fun game. Like, the result doesn't matter too much. But someone actually told us the day after that there's still a mathematical chance. And I was like, oh, please don't get my hopes up.
Like, I told him at the Mad Cow at probably midnight on Saturday. I've never seen him go, no.
Yeah, it's been a tough year, but that's all right. We still rally behind the Bronx.
Have you got like a favourite Broncos memory from that time of your membership? Or
a lot. The moment I'll never forget though is that goal in the Cowboys Broncos grand final where we lost.
Yeah.
I can remember the feeling.
I know.
We had mates like lock themselves in rooms and just not talk to people for days. But
I always say though, I reckon last year the grand final hurt more than 2015 with the Cowboys.
Yeah.
As a Queenslander, you love Jonathan Thurston. Part of me was like, oh, he deserves to kick this, and obviously we lost. But last year was absolutely heart wrenching.
Yeah.
It was as soon as Cleary got that first.
Even when he kicked the 40-20, I was like, please don't do this to me, Nathan.
You just knew there was
like something coming.
I was watching the Penrith Parramatta game the other night, and I think it was like 5 minutes to go and they were down by 14 points, and he set something up. I was like, oh, they're going to win.
They just know how to finish, don't they?
It's just crazy.
Just competitors.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just like watching Jeeps on a Friday night at 6 game. Same sort of energy.
Same sort of athleticism as well.
Yeah, that's it. Now, you did mention, so you are a Broncos supporter. Being the Premier, do you also sort of have your soft spot for the other teams, like your Cowboys, your Dolphins and Titans then?
Yeah, and I am actually a bit torn. The Dolphins have been my QRL team for a long time.
Yeah.
Right.
I backed the bid and helped get them in, and so they've still got a very soft spot for them.
Yeah.
And, the Cowboys too, and you got to feel for the Titans as well. Every year they put together a roster, and you think this could be a good year, and they keep backing up.
That's it.
Yeah, exactly. They keep backing up, but I suppose if any four of those teams get through, you're just gonna have to claim it against New South Wales.
That's it.
It's always good to rub it in their wounds. But
We were saying, well, not so much Josh. He's a Melbourne Storm supporter, but I was saying when the Finns got announced and they were coming in, I was like, nah, they're not the second Brisbane team. They're my number one enemy, arch nemesis of the Broncos. And then we do a bit of work with one of their sponsors, and we got to go to the Roosters game, the first game they played. Yeah. And I came on the podcast next week. I was like, I've got Finns fever. You can't deny it. It was
a great day.
Yeah,
it was so good.
They're going well this year as well. So hopefully they can stick it out and play finals
this year,
footy.
aren't they?
Yeah.
Them and the Cowboys, we need them in there somehow. But, she's been a rough year for Queensland. I put a multi on at the end of last year, and it was for the Brisbane Heat, the Maroons, the Broncos, and the Lions all to win.
Right.
And I checked the other day, and I was like, why do I still not have a pending bet? And forgot that we lost the Origin series and got sad all over again.
Tough.
But
Very tough.
The Lions are doing well. They've come back.
Who was that? Sorry,
the Lions have come back.
Mate, they've been so good.
Yeah.
They had a bit of a rough loss on the weekend, but that's okay. That's expected after 8 or 9.
Someone told me that was the loss they needed.
Yeah, exactly.
That's truer words haven't been spoken.
Yeah, we're definitely jumping on the Lions bandwagon now as well, especially given the current state of the Broncos. But there's still a chance, so we'll be behind all of them.
That's it.
Mate, obviously a very proud Queenslander. What would you say is your favourite thing about the great state? Because, again, we're on this podcast every week talking about how it is the greatest state of all. And people might accuse you of being biased, but I feel like you're probably in a pretty good position to tell us why it is the greatest state.
I am pretty biased. I like to say that Queensland's the best country in the world. My favourite thing about Queensland is probably Forex. I also reckon, we don't quite appreciate what a beautiful state it is. Nowhere has. There's not a big city in the world that has one sand island like we have 3.
Yeah.
The Great Barrier Reef, the Outback, the Daintree, the rainforest. It's an incredible place. Even just not just the Goldie and the Sunshine Coast.
Yeah, the beaches
incredible
are
places.
phenomenal.
Beaches. Beach after beach after beach.
I know.
Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah,
it's literally
plus the South Bank Lagoon.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
The crowning jewels.
I've spent many a times in the South Bank Lagoon, and I can't wait to get back there. It's been a while.
Surely there's going to be the Olympics will be interesting with the South Bank Lagoon.
Yeah,
there'll be foot traffic everywhere, mate. What's the go with Forex? Because we obviously both love it as well, but you go anywhere else and what are you guys doing drinking mid-strength beers? It's my favourite of all time, I reckon. You just can't beat it, and other states just don't seem to get it.
No, I think it's just the way we're raised on it, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's the beer you grew up on.
Yeah,
exactly.
The beer that makes you get kicked out of the Caxtons.
Or sometimes not. Enjoy it more responsibly.
Exactly right.
So, with Queensland being so great, we've got all these good natural places. We hear you're a bit of a keen fisherman. Do you have a particular spot or an area, not to give away
too many
special spots, but...
I don't get as much time as I'd like to, but we spend our Christmas break at the caravan park at Cotton Tree, and it's not a bad spot to drop the line in the river there. But I also get to get up on the Cape, so... Pomperau is an Indigenous community just south of Weipa, and they've got massive barramundi, and
nice.
So it's pretty cool getting taken out by the First Nations folk there and showing how they fish. But we went out one time, and they pulled the boat up on this deserted beach, and there's a dozen crocs inside, and they've thought, we won't make. I was deputy premier then. We won't make him step down onto the sand. So they put a plastic chair out for me to step down onto.
Yeah, right.
Which, of course, as soon as I stood on, it sunk into the sand, flipped over. I fell and landed on it, snapped the plastic chair in half, and impaled myself on a bit of it. So there I am lying, bleeding on this beach with all these crocodiles around. But we caught a barra that day.
Yeah,
as long as you caught the fish,
Exactly.
that's all good.
That's the story you lead with. We caught a barra today. Yeah, that's all they need to hear about.
Is that the best sort of fish you go? I've never caught a barra personally. Are they good fish to fight against?
Well, I've only caught that one, but it was a pretty good experience. We hit another one with the boat though. That was we're just shooting along. Thought we'd hit a log, turned around, and this barra just floats up to the surface.
It's that easy.
Oh, God, if only we could catch fish that easily.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, you'd probably get along well with Clutzy's dad. He's a keen fisherman. And every time they go fishing together, he just sends me photos of they just clean up. Yeah. And he's got his secrets as well.
Dad goes out in the bay. We usually go for whiting, and then once you bag out on the whiting, go for the bigger stuff like the mackerel. So, and that's the beauty of Brisbane. You can just go straight out into the bay area there, and you just got such a diverse ecosystem. It's great. So, even I saw there was a whale or something.
Yeah, whales in the river.
Yeah.
2 whales.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Where was that in the river? I just scrolled past it this morning.
Yeah, near the port.
Right. Yeah.
Which is there's the amount of stuff that pops up in that port area is just crazy. It's, as I said, such a diverse ecosystem. It's incredible.
I did the whale watch tour out of Tangalooma last year, and everywhere,
phenomenal.
Mums and cars.
Such a good spot out there.
So cool,
mate. You mentioned at the top of the show you've got 4 tap beer keg system at home. Yeah. What rotation are you running on the kegs?
Look, I got to tell you, I used to brew my own, and then take the kegs around to craft breweries around the place and get them filled up.
Yeah,
I'm not as active anymore, unfortunately, but it's still there. Yeah, it's when I retire,
when the time,
exactly.
Always full beers on tap.
That's got to be so dangerous having craft beers on tap at home.
But there's no dead soldiers. So
there's
no evidence.
Very, very true. Just use the same glass all night. It could be the same beer. It's actually quite a smart investment decision.
Yeah, it is.
What are some of your favourite craft breweries from around Brisbane?
So I love Easy Times over at the Gabba. It's a great spot. But we've got heaps of good craft beers,
left, right, and centre.
I don't mind Forex. So
yeah. It's always,
some of that
always
on
easy
tap
go
as well.
to.
Yeah.
You'll have to try, I don't know if you've been there, but Caxton Brewing just up the street.
Right.
They brew some pretty good beers. We were up there recently.
Nice.
And some very tasty beers.
Someone just told me Brewski's closing down.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They I think there was like a new landlord or something, and they couldn't come to an agreement.
Yeah.
So which is quite sad. They still have their bottle shops around the place, but
when you said Brewski, then I instantly thought Brew Dog, and I was like, what? But no, very different.
Right.
Yeah.
Brewski's got some interesting beers they get on tap there. I remember we went there one day and they got something from like the Czech Republic.
Oh wow!
It was like a 14% triple IPA or something. It was like $50 for a schooner.
You only need one.
Yeah, exactly. You need one and that's you done.
Yeah.
Do you have I'm assuming lager's your favourite style of beer then?
Yeah, I don't mind an IPA.
Yeah, IPAs as well.
Yeah.
How do you feel about sours?
No, you don't need to get too fancy with me.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. No, I like that straight down the
like
barrel. Yeah. We went through a stage where we got really into the sours. That Brouhaha brewery up in Mullaney. Mullaney. They do a really good strawberry one.
Okay.
If you're ever up that way,
rhubarb.
I think they use like the local strawberry yogurt from the area to put into the beer.
From the Mullaney dairy,
Is that
pretty
like
cool.
A dessert beer or a breakfast beer?
I'd say it's probably more of a dessert beer.
Right.
Yeah. It's very different to... That's sort of how we started doing all this, was trying literally that beer, like the strawberry and rhubarb sour. Yeah. But it's one of the ones you'd give to you, like I gave it to my granddad and he's like, what is that? Like I'm not having another sip of that. Yeah. So
well, one year I made a cherry ripe stout.
Oh,
for Christmas.
Nice.
That was really good.
Yeah. That
sounds down so well.
Delicious.
God, it's dangerous talking about beers on a Tuesday like that.
I know, yeah. Especially brewing myself must be even more dangerous. Like, homebrew straight into the keg out the back.
That's probably good. I don't have time anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
That's living the dream.
Now, mate, this year we saw you actually at the Caxton before Origin. How was the Origin? Although we lost, but have we gotten over that yet?
Well, I thought being Premier was the greatest honour, but sculling a beer in the bar of the Caxton on the way to Origin as the Premier, that was
that is
wild.
peak.
Yeah.
That is so sick. We saw Sterling put a photo up of that as well, and we're like, that is so sick.
It was great.
That's talking again about how Queensland's the greatest state of all. You can't beat Caxton Street for Origin or even Magic Round. Like, it's just something about it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we didn't get the result this year, but mate, something we actually wanted to talk to you about was We had this conversation on the show a while ago now about how there's all these different international days of blah, blah, blah. Actually, I think there was one on my calendar that said International Day of Friendship. And we basically came to the conclusion that we need a public holiday for our podcast. And we sort of put it out to the listeners. And what we came up with was 6 More Songs Day, which obviously after State of Origin, if Queensland get the job done, there's known to be a few parties up here at the Caco, and Alfie Langer famously a couple of years ago was up on the table asking for 6 more songs. So we thought, what better way to celebrate Queensland than the day off after State of Origin, so we can have our 6 more songs. We were wondering if you had any sort of take on that idea.
Oh, that's something we can think. What would we do if we lose, though?
Well, yeah, we can still do it.
It's like a day of mourning then, I suppose. But we sort of figured we're like Sydney gets their NRL grand final, Melbourne gets all the horse racing of the AFL. So
maybe we'll get the day off before the grand final.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Maybe we could take the day of Origin off.
Yeah, that would
be awesome.
Yeah, just head to the Caxton.
It'd be real messy though.
No one had to work. The game. Yeah,
that's all right though. I think Queensland thrives when we're getting messy and getting into our work, so it could work out well. But Alfie is running an institute usually when Queensland wins. So
even maybe it's not even when Queensland wins. Sometimes he's just here on a Tuesday. He loves the Caxton more than anyone else. Mate, obviously we sort of touched on it. There is a chance, but as a Broncos supporter, we might be looking for some alternate activities to take part in towards the back end of the year, given finals footy's taking place. Are you excited for the cricket season to fire back up?
I am excited for the cricket season, although I reckon, you know how Brisbane folk start to realise AFL's a sport around this time of year when the Lions are playing well and the Broncos aren't. So I think we'll focus in on them. My middle boy, though, is cricket mad. He plays summer and winter and club and school.
Wow.
I see just enough junior cricket. I don't actually need to watch a lot more cricket, to be honest with you.
God, that would be such an intense schedule. The winter
it's
cricket
a whole day
as well.
of every weekend all year.
Yeah. That's great. Probably all over Brisbane as well.
No, when you're cricket mad, it's good. Like, we were having this discussion the other day, like being a parent and going to the cricket. Like I started out, we both went to Marist at Ashgrove, and I had never played cricket except for in the backyard before I went to that school. And I started off in the worst team, the 5 Blues. And I ended up doing some coaching post school. And I said to Dad one day, I was like, I don't know how the parents rock up to junior cricket for a whole day because this is the most painful thing I've ever gone through. Big credit to all the parents out there and yourself for surviving junior cricket, and particularly you for going it 12 months of the year. That's crazy.
You sit there all day and watch your kid face 2 balls.
Right?
It's just
it's
or not at all.
Yeah, exactly.
So Dad used to say to me, because I wasn't the most technically sound cricketer, why'd you go out there and try and sky it on the first ball and now I've got to sit here for 4 hours.
Watch everyone else.
And it's emotionally brutal too. He amps himself up, and then if he gets out, it's
not good. We've all
swinging
been there.
bats. And
My favourite memory from junior cricket, we had one guy, he did the same sort of thing, and we were at Albany Creek at the state school, and there was a big water drain there, and he's gone and he's spat the dummy, thrown his bat, and he's gone running into there and he's sulking, and then he comes running back out. There was a wasp nest in there. I was like, that just must be the worst day for this poor bloke. But cricket's such a cruel sport.
It is a cruel sport, but excited to have it back. Always gets excited for cricket season. Mate, how did you sort of get into politics in the first place? What was the drive behind wanting to step in that direction?
Look, I was always kind of interested in news and current affairs and what was going on around the place. And then in grade 12, when I got my learner's permit, I must have said something to the driving instructor, and it turned out he was the president of the local ALP branch. He signed me up to the party, and I went to a meeting that night. I was dirty. He picked me up in the driving school car but wouldn't let me drive. Come on.
Gotta get these hours up. They're like 3 times with the driving instructor as well, aren't they?
Yeah. So that's how I joined the party, and I've been doing different stuff all throughout, but I've really, it's an incredible. I get an incredible chance to make a difference on so many fronts
Yeah.
day in, day out, and that's real special.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And get to do cool stuff like head up
Podcasts.
fishing up case and
Yeah.
podcasts and skull beers at the case.
Yeah.
What's some things that like probably you're like the most passionate about at the moment for Queensland?
Yeah, well, we did all that cost of living stuff. That,
Yeah.
really felt like it made a difference to people. 50-cent train fares.
Yeah.
Folk were excited about.
Yeah, which is awesome.
I actually cashed it on that last night. We
Nice.
had to go out for dinner and we're like, we could get an Uber or we could just walk down and get the train. Cost us
Yeah.
50 cents, $1 return. So, yeah.
I offered to my roommate left her car at where she works last Thursday, and I offered to take her in, and she said, "No, I'm just excited to catch the 50-cent transport through the city to
great?
the valley." I was like, "That's awesome." So
Yeah, I had a mate who said he caught the train recently for the first time in, and I was like, "You're rich. You could have afforded the
exactly.
Yeah.
I guess that's how you get rich. So cheap,
Yeah,
right?
exactly
For
right.
train.
Yeah,
definitely.
It was nice this morning because I tapped on with my phone. I got the little notification from Apple Wallet, 50 cents. I was like,
Yeah,
get
that's
in.
so good. Nah, it is good. There's plenty of good things you guys have been doing. I actually, I used to be an apprentice plumber, and I used to do a lot of the social housing that you guys have been doing. So yeah, there's a lot of good projects you guys
Social
have
housing
done.
stuff for apprentices. We've got free TAFE.
Yeah.
$1,000 worth of free tools for the first year apprentices.
Yeah.
So doing what we can to try to get more people into construction trades in particular.
Yeah, definitely.
Less
She's-
podcast, more
less
trades.
yeah, exactly. Maybe I need to just hang it up, hang up the headphones, and go back.
Back on the tools.
Yeah,
that's it. But no, it's good stuff.
It is good stuff. Yeah, what's next for Queensland, do you think? Where are we heading? What are you looking forward to?
The state's doing great.
Yeah.
And I just think we've got so much potential coming. I talked a bit about projects coming to fruition and
Yeah.
and then the games, and I just think we'll look back and think the world's discovered us over the
Yeah.
last little while. So
Yeah.
it's pretty cool.
I'm super excited. Like, you see everything happening in Paris and you're like, it's crazy to think that that's going to be happening at Suncorp and
Yeah.
the felons, like everywhere. I'm assuming it's just going to be bustling. So yeah, I can't wait for
It's
it.
only going to get bigger, so
Yeah.
it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, exactly right.
Gonna have to take that whole time off as
I
well.
was literally
so.
just thinking the same thing. We've got to make sure we're still doing this so we can
Yeah.
have some time to soak it all up. Yeah,
I'll tell you what, if we're not, I'm willing to go unemployed for 2 weeks. It'll be such a good party.
yeah, we'll be good.
It's so good.
Mate, for anyone who sort of would consider, like, we have a pretty younger audience, like, for people considering getting into politics, what would you say to them? Like, is it something you'd encourage?
Yeah, for sure. I love it.
Yeah.
And I hope it comes across in what
Yeah.
people see of me doing, because I really do. I love the state, love this job, and there's lots of opportunities for people to do great things. And so if people are interested, they should definitely
Pursue it.
pursue it.
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome.
And what do you reckon your favourite thing about the job is?
Oh, favorite thing about the job. I get to travel a lot around the regional Queensland in particular. So last week I was in Bundy and Cairns and Mackay. This week I'm in Gladstone, Rocky. Next week I'm in Townsville, and it's an incredible state. And every one of those places is really different. So you get to know those communities, and you end up with your favorite cafe and favorite bar, and meet lots of different people. It's great.
Yeah.
That's
I
awesome.
feel like people like you, when you think about going away on a holiday or something, it's often almost an afterthought to go and explore Queensland if you're from Brisbane. But every time, like, we've travelled through doing this sort of stuff to Gladstone, we're in Townsville on the weekend. Every time we go away, like, we literally were just saying before, our flights got delayed on the weekend to Townsville, so our trip was like really rushed and short. We're like, we've got to get back up here, and we ran into Sam Thaiday, who was telling us about the fishing and Magnetic Island and all that, and we were like, oh, we just need to find a way to get back up here
definitely.
and sort of experience it.
Yeah.
The greatest state of all.
It's good. Actually, who was I talking to? It was a bloke we met in Townsville the other week. He was saying one of his friends came over from Oklahoma that he did school with, and the only thing he wanted to do was go up and down Queensland because of the reputation that it has. So hopefully more people can understand how great this place is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
It'd be awesome.
Yeah, for sure. Mate, before we wrap up, we sort of mentioned in our Facebook, we've got a group chat for the podcast and things like that. And there was a lot of questions people had, but the number one question people kept asking was, how much does the Premier bench press? So wondering if you could shed some light on that. There was comments about a very tight Ralph Lauren shirt around the biceps. A lot of impressed listeners. So yeah, we promised them that we would ask the question. What's your bench looking like at the moment?
Yeah, so at the moment I'm benching 80. So
nice.
Like four sets of 6.
Beautiful.
Kilos.
Yeah,
that's good.
I'm flat out doing a push up. So.
Yeah,
very impressive. Yeah.
I did that push-up challenge recently, and I'm done with push-ups. It was like 2,500 push-ups or something.
Oh my lord!
How long was that over?
That was over like 22 days.
That's a lot of push-ups.
Extremely impressive. Yeah.
My God, I don't reckon I've done that many in my life.
At one stage, I couldn't hold my phone up to my ear. My arm was too sore.
I feel like as a premier, you probably do need to be able to hold your phone up too. Yeah, a fair few phone calls.
Crikey.
Mate, thank you so much for taking time out and coming in to see us and have a chat. We hope you've enjoyed it, and hope you enjoyed the Caco.
Yep, definitely.
So good. Thanks for having me. And these beers are bloody brilliant.
I know, yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
We'll have to have a couple more.
Yeah, certainly.
Thanks very much, mate.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.